We'll use a little debubbleizer.
That's the detergent?
Yeah, it's gooey stuff mixed up with some kind of alcohol and crap, I guess. Okay, I'm not worried about it sticking to the hand. I just don't want it sticking to my pot because I'm kind of fond of that particular pan. Okay. This is by guess and by gosh, so we'll just pour some in there and start mixing it up.
By guess and by gosh. Is that Yankee Spink? I hadn't actually heard that term before.
By guess and by gosh.
I'll have to add that to my vocabulary.
It's only a bit soupy.
Yeah.
Well, we want to be able to pour it. It's
Sorry.
a little bit soupy, you are correct.
I want to get a good view of the festivities.
We want it to be about like we mix investment, I would say, the consistency of latex paint. I'll just use this for a little scoop. And get in here with Now, on the package, it does say that if you stir this, it will start to set up a little faster. Otherwise, it takes about 20-30 minutes to set. And you want to stir it, but do it kind of gently. Otherwise, you're going to get it so full of bubbles that it's going to be like froth. And what you can do is take something and whack the sides of the bowl. And we can see some of these bubbles come out. Do not get this stuff in your eyes because it really, really smarts. Now, if you ever decide to do a life mask with plaster, make sure that the person that you use it on is well lubricated. Because I've done it with quick-set plaster, and it'll pull like a 2-day stubble out of your chin.
Jeez. Imagine that smarts a bit.
Yeah, I was working on a minister, and he cursed roundly while I did that. Okay, so this stuff is getting pretty thick, so now what we got to do is like coax it into place. So you just go like this. Perhaps mix up enough. What we're trying to do is avoid air pockets. And you want to fill the details, so we know not to make this stuff so thick. And we know we need to use a little bit more plaster, but we don't have
Her
really.
hand's gonna look like yours.
Yeah, I know. Gonna have a short finger. Sorry about that, kid. Didn't mean to amputate your fingers.
Is this just a works one time sort of thing, or can
This
you
whole thing is pretty much a one-shot
make
deal.
one shot deal?
Yeah.
Is there a release agent on the alginate?
Yeah, I squirted it with debubbleizer. Another thing you want to be aware of is with plaster. Yeah, that's for the
What was the ratio
short-bus project.
of that alginate to water? 2 to 1?
2 to 1.
I think
Yeah.
plaster of Paris ideally is the same.
Yeah, because I got a
Basically.
little bit thick here. So anyway, we'll just keep schmutzing around, and I think we're done schmutzing around because it's starting to set up now, which is good. So we don't have to wait forever to see what kind of destruction we've got. It's not going to be 100% successful, but this is just a dry run to see how this stuff works. Because the real stuff that I use, this Magic Cast, is expensive.
And what's the special property of that stuff?
You have a little better working time with it. It's not quite so fast, and it's a little more supple. You have to reinforce it once you've got a good layer on the subject. You reinforce it with quick set plaster bandages, which makes a really good mess. But then that allows you to pick the thing up, because you can use a fairly thin layer. Like 2 cups will be enough to do her face, roughly half of her skull. Down, we'll go back to her ears. We're not going to fill her ears up with that stuff. And, the purpose of this is for a custom job. The guy wants a silver mask, and we have to raise it and so forth by hand. A combination of repoussé and Flemish raising and forging, and you do whatever you got to do to get the shapes that you want. But it has to fit his face. So that's why I'm going to do the life mask. And maybe what we'll do is we'll do something with a mask for Missy, so she doesn't have to go shopping in Halloween. Yes,
I got a question. I saw a movie, I can't remember what it was, I think it was probably the one with Johnny Depp, the one over there, it was a musical, Sweeney Todd.
yeah.
And I think on the stage, when somebody was trying to sell something as they might have done out in the streets, somebody got stabbed or killed or something, and he died on the stage. And I'm watching the rest of the activity, but over here on this part, there was a bunch of guys mixing up some stuff, and they laid this guy out flat. Maybe he was a personal position.
Mask.
Yeah,
Yeah, frequently they would do that.
it was an immediate thing.
Yeah, I've done death masks. When you do a life mask, you have to make allowances for people to breathe. Their eyes have to be shut. And when you touch a live person, they bounce back. Dead people don't. So when you're doing a death mask, you have to be very delicate with your subject. And you've got him all posed so he doesn't look like that, And you don't want to disturb their features, because if you poke their cheek, it'll stay poked. And it's not attractive. So you have to do what's called a splatter coat. You don't actually touch them. You dip your hands in the plaster. Another thing you want to remember to do is glue the lips shut. Plug the nose to some point and glue the eyelids shut, unless you want the eyes open, which is morbid and disgusting.
Just doing a death mask isn't.
Yeah, it's not a good time. It's not one of my favorite things to do. The one time I did it, I had to do it in a hurry, because the mortician was, come on, hurry up. So I And I forgot to glue the eyelid shut.
Oh,
One of the eyelids came with a mask. This is one here. You can put that back. It's gonna take me hours to fix that. I said, it only took me a second to pull it off. What's the problem? Guy's dead. Just stick it back on there. And
he's not gonna know.
no, he didn't know, but it did make a lot of extra work for the mortician, and he wasn't happy about it. But it was at the family's request. And
A little disclaimer that I'm gonna be really excited. I will.
you won't. We won't, because we're using an alginate which doesn't behave in such a vulgar fashion.
Didn't hurt to pull your hand out of there.
No, it didn't even stick that much, did it?
Not much.
So, all right, let me clean this crap up for just a second here. I'll be right back.